Welcome back to Opera Talk with Portland Opera. In this episode, we go behind the scenes of Puccini's beloved masterpiece with the cast and creative team of La Boheme. General Director Sue Dixon moderates this engaging conversation, beginning with an exclusive design presentation by Director of Production Anna Labykina, offering insight into the visual world of our production. Then, hear directly from the artists and creatives about the challenges, discoveries, and magic of bringing this iconic opera to the stage, from the emotional depths to the soaring romance of the garret duet. Whether you're a longtime opera lover or new to Puccini's world, this intimate discussion will deepen your appreciation for one of opera's greatest works. Don't miss La Bohème at the Keller Auditorium, November 15th, 21st, and 23rd. Get your tickets now at portlandopera.org.
The week anything is. Welcome to Portland Opera's meet and greet for La Bohème. We are so happy you are here. We're so happy you are here. My name is Anna. I'm the director of production. I apologize for my voice. It's been like a week and a half of this. I am going to do a wee baby design presentation, and a lot of our singers haven't seen this information either. So I direct your attention to the tiny television screen over there. In this production, which is, for those of you who don't know, it is fairly typical to rent sets and costumes for production. Sometimes we build them in-house. In this particular case, we are renting the set, or rather, we now own the set. It has a long storied history that I'm about to talk about, this production is going to use costumes that are both rented from Seattle Opera, as well as designed by Fabian Aguilar, who is sitting here on stage, our costume designer. The production is directed by Cara Consiglio, and she'll have a lot more to say. And we will have lighting by Marcella Barbeau, who worked with us for The Shining. Already forgot. And we will have hair and makeup by Sarah Buchers, who typically does our hair and makeup. And that's everything that I have to say about the design team. Now, the scenery for it, and I will show it to you in just 1 second. It was originally designed by Michael Jorgen, who is on the faculty at Yale School of Drama, and he designed it for San Francisco Opera in 1995. So, it's 30 years old, which also means that it's very traditional in its sense of what scenery is, right? We think about flats, we think about painted sets, and then we have some three-dimensional elements, which we have in rehearsal. This production, after San Francisco used it for about 20 years, they sold it to Michigan Opera Theater, which then sent it out just in the last 10 years to Lyric Opera of Chicago. They did their own production in Michigan, Minnesota Opera, Florida Grand Opera, Pittsburgh Opera, Austin Opera. Now, sometimes when you rent a set, you are renting the staging that goes with it. We're not doing that. We have our own brand new staging that we're inventing. And sometimes you also have the costumes that are a package deal with that. We're not doing that. We have totally separate costumes. Fun fact, we have rented the Seattle costumes before for a previous Bohème we did. Lizzie found that out. Yeah. So this is what the set looks like at the top of the show. This Parisian skyline is what we are going to use for our act curtain. So we are not having our traditional drapery from Keller. Thank God. And you are going to see the skyline between each of the acts of the production. And then it goes out and we see Act 1, Garret. It is very three-dimensional. It is a little room on top of a building in Paris. Of what year are we in this production, Cara? We are in the 1890s. The production originally was designed to be in 1830, but it has been placed, the opera was written to be in 1830, even though it was written in 1890s, and it's been placed in many, many different decades since. And then our poor artists do some things in the garret, lots of things in the garret, and towards the end of the act, we have some scenic transformations. It may not be that color, that's blue light. We have a different lighting designer. It may be something else. And then we're going to take a little break before we move on to Act 2, which takes place in an outdoor cafe in a Parisian setting, all these buildings around us, and you see some of the scenery properties from the cafe in front of you that the artists are on. Our chorus is in this act. You can see this production used red tablecloths. We have white tablecloths. We are being radical. That production, I think, had no tablecloths at all, so, you know. And then after everybody is on this street scene, we have a little bit of a more intimate setting of people on the sidewalk, as we talked about it. Fun fact, we cut the chandeliers. So you see some chandeliers in this picture. We're not using them. It's a decision that was recently made, and we appreciate that. And then after we hang out at the cafe, we take an intermission. We don't have a banda, but you know, there's a parade. There's a parade that we're seeing. So after the parade goes through, we take an intermission, and then we come back for a snowy scene outside of a guardhouse. This is the scene where it snows a lot. That's what everybody loves about La Bohème, is how much it snows in La Bohème. And then we come back to, I don't have a slide for Act 4, because it's the same as Act 1. We'll just come back to that. So to continue with the costumes, here are some of the characters from the rental package from Seattle. This is actually, I can't read that far, but I'm pretty sure it's the three artists. Marcello, Schwernardo, and Colina. And then we have some of the women. This is Mimi, Musetta. I apologize. I can't see this far. I don't have my glasses on. And then we have some builds. So those costumes are from Seattle, but then we have some builds that Fabian designed, and this is a design for Mimi, as well as a design for Alcindoro and Benoit. And those are being constructed by our costume shop, as well as we were doing many, many alterations, because of course, when you receive costumes in a specific size and then you put them on a singer, and then they're not necessarily the size that the singer is, and then you are doing work to adjust that. And I have a few more costume examples. This is Act 2. Some of the Act 2 crew, as well as some of the women we see in the cafe scene. You can see that everything is very fancy for this production. As well as we have children. There are children in this production. There's a 10-person chorus, and they are dressed in a variety of poor, rich, and middle-class outfits, because we have the entirety of the population of Paris in this particular instance represented. And here's some girls. And that is all the visuals that I have. Fabian, would you like to say anything about your design process, or what you've been doing on this particular production? Here. It doesn't amplify, but it's for the recording.
Gotcha. Repeat the question.
Would you like to add anything about your design process for this particular production, because you're new to us and to working with this company and with Farah?
I am new here, which I'm very excited to be with all of these lovely people and design. We've already had some great fittings and trying to pull things assembling. One of my favorite things is when you have to put your mind as a Victorian stylist and be, how am I going to piece together these different looks? What does stylists in that time period do with the materials that they've got on hand? So it's really fun to try to see how you're pairing some colors with a design that already exists. So the design is very heavily orange and blue, or orangey browns and blues, the color palette. So it's kind of fun to start with that kernel and then branch out from it. And one of the funnest things, too, was Michael Jurgen was one of my design professors, so it was like really nice to do another show with him in a roundabout way. But yeah, we've been having a great time. One of the hardest things is just choosing which fabric you want to go with, because you can make all of them beautiful.
Amazing. We'll make sure everybody else speaks more loudly. We do not have amplification. It's just that. That's why he is a costume designer. Unless there's questions about the design from the public, I would like to introduce Sue Dixon, our general director, who's going to do the rest of this presentation. Sue Dixon is retiring at the end of this year. So we are very happy to have her to do this design presentation, the meet and greet, as it is the last one she will do in her capacity as general director.
Thank you, everyone. I am so excited that La Boheme is going to be one of my last operas here at Portland Opera, so I'm very excited. So let's just get started. Let's go down the row. Everyone say your name, your hometown, and the role that you will be playing.
My name is Nathaniel Kataska. I am from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I will be singing Parpignol.
Hi, everyone. I'm from a place far away from Milwaukee, Oregon. My name is Richard Zeller, and I will be singing a double role. In the first act, I played the part of Benoit. You might have seen in the dressing gown there, he's the landlord, and then I play Alcindoro in the second act, the beau of Musetta. So get to play two different roles.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gyan. I'm from Trumbull, Connecticut, the other coast, and I am the conducting fellow, conducting apprentice with the opera.
Fabi Aguilar, costume designer.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jason Zacher. I'm from Livingston, New Jersey, and I will be performing the role of Colline.
Hi, folks. My name is Alok Kumar, originally from Poughkeepsie, New York, but now a happy resident of Los Angeles, California. I'm never going to shovel snow again. And I'm singing the role of Rodolfo.
Hi, my name is Katrina Galka. I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but as many of you know, I've lived now 8 years in Portland, Oregon, and I love calling Portland my home. And I'll be singing the first two performances of Musetta.
Hi, everyone. I'm Markel Reed. I'm originally from Charlotte, North Carolina, now living in New York, and I'm performing the role of Marcello.
Good afternoon. My name is Aubrey Ballero. I am from Bryan, Ohio, but I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Yay! Philly. And I will be singing the final performance of Musetta, and this is my Portland Opera debut. So happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Hello, my name is Adrian Rosales. I'm from Portland, Oregon, and I'll be singing Chouinard.
Hi, I'm Cara Consilvio. I'm the stage director. I'm originally from the Boston area, and now I live in Atlanta.
My name is Nicholas Fox. My hometown is Los Angeles, California. I am conducting the production. I also prepared the chorus, the children and adult chorus. And I would also just like to give a quick shout out to my co-pilot, who's sitting in the back, Claire Forsman, our rehearsal pianist.
Thank you all. For those of you that have performed your roles before, how many of you have performed this role before? I would like to know how you prepare and bring a fresh perspective to this performance.
Hello. So this is my second time performing the role of Colline. It's the third time if you count when I covered it 2 years ago at Atlanta. But I've also performed the role of Schaunard twice, and I've performed the role of Marcello as well. So first time I go through the score, I try to make sure I'm singing the correct lines because I'm like, oh, this is a low line. It's got to be Colline. Nope, it's Schaunard or it's Marcello. So just getting the brain in the right place. But really, preparing it is, I think, with the group that you get, getting to have the guys with you and really getting to bond on the stage, off the stage, and really just getting to know everybody's quirks and getting to just play in the sandbox. So that's what I do.
He totally took my answer. That was exactly what I was going to say. This is my third time doing the role of Rodolfo. It's the last time I did it was about a year and a half ago, and prior to that was about 14 years ago. And so this actually feels like the second time. But I completely agree with most of what Jason said in terms of the difference being, you have a new group and you kind of find the dynamic and you get comfortable as quickly as you possibly can, and try to find common ground so that you can kind of build quickly from there. On the personal preparation side, the nature of the work and of most works is you kind of like bring in, you have to mine some sense of whatever you're going to bring in personally to infuse into the character, and fortunately, unlike some of the roles I've done, ad nauseum, this is still relatively fresh, but I'm still able to kind of bring in personal misery and tragedy so that I can kind of mine that and convey the horror that is, the ultimate loss in this. And if I were to divulge how I do that, I am pretty sure most people would suggest I go find therapists. A team of therapists, so I won't go down that road. But yeah, so that's kind of how I work through it.
Katrina here. So I did this role a year ago. Well, actually less than a year ago, in Hamburg, Germany, and we had like 5 days of rehearsal. It was a revival production, so it was really like trial by fire. So I'm enjoying the opportunity to look deeper at this piece and this character. So I'd say for me, in revisiting it again, I've just looked again at the text to start and just like really thinking subtext, like when she says this, like what else could she be thinking? What is another perspective that she could be having here that I didn't think about the first time when I was just stressed and trying to remember my choreography? So yeah, that's really nice to be able to do that. And then of course, like working with different people, it's the people that make it really special every time that we perform, I think, and for me, that's the case. So like working with Nick on this has been such a pleasure. He's bringing so many new ideas that are his unique ideas, and that's informed a lot of what I'm doing this time. I'm sure that Cara is we just had our first rehearsal, and so she's bringing amazing new ideas. It's really a privilege to be double cast and to play off of like seeing another person do what you're doing. So there's that. And, and then also like you bring your life experiences. So, I just saw Chapel Roan perform this summer, and I'm definitely bringing a little Chapel Roan into this Musetta. That's that.
So this is the second time that I've done this role. It was 3 years ago that I did it, and it was also a whirlwind kind of production. We put it up in like 2 weeks, which was kind of crazy. But having more time with this character, I'll try not to resonate. Well, I resonate with a lot of that the others have said, but for me, intention is everything. And not just the text that's being said, but also what it means to me, not just what that character is. And then also playing off of 2 different Musettas is going to be really fun because I respond to body language. And they have their own way of internalizing this character, Musetta. So I look forward to finding different things with each of you, and being in dialogue about that. So yeah, that's me on me.
Well, this is not a second performance of this for me, really. I've done Act 2 with chorus, orchestra, etc., which, as those of you who know the show very well know, that's the majority of Musetta, or that's really her feature. So it feels kind of like doing it for a second time, but being able to go through the full show and really see the transformation that Musetta has is pretty wonderful, and to see and let all of those sides influence every act differently, and I didn't get to do that last time. But yeah, as everyone else said, I will say all of those things as well. Being with different people, being double cast, taking inspiration from the other Musetta, Katrina, who is so wonderful, Nick, Cara, everyone. It's exciting.
Hi, let's see. I have covered Chouinard twice and sung Chouinard twice. So this is like the fifth time overall that I've encountered this character. And for me, I think whenever I'm working on a new project, one of the most important things to me is to figure out how I can be in the moment when I'm doing something dramatic, whether it's an opera or a musical or a film project of some kind or a play. I mean, when you're working with something like this, where of course we have music and we're bound by the strictures of what that is, what Puccini created, you still have to find a way to internalize your own thoughts and your feelings in that moment and not get in the way of the music, but just kind of maybe ornament them where appropriate. And so that's something that I'm really excited to get to do, because every time you do that with a different team of people, there's different energies about you, there's different aspects of the people that you're with that will impact you in different ways. So to me, it's really just about being open, being aware, and trying to really pay attention as much as I can, and then respond and add flavor where appropriate, if that makes any sense.
Thank you all. Puccini is just a masterpiece in always doing these sort of sweeping moments of music. So I would love Nick Fox to talk a little bit about the music and what should audiences pay attention to?
God, well, I mean, La Boheme is perfect. That goes without saying. But I think the perfection of it, if you're not getting technical, and you can, there's a million details that are magnificent. But it's like Puccini had this ability to, in every one of his operas, put into sound exactly what the situation feels like. So like the opera opens with two starving artists who, even though they're cold, even though they're hungry, even though they're poor, they feel like millionaires, right? It's inside, they're rich, even though they're so, and that's exactly what the music sounds like. Ba-dum bum bum, ba-dum bum bum. It's like it's there's a combination in the whole orchestral prelude of struggling, like there's struggle in it, but it's also very happy. It's like happy and then Mimi's entrance. It's like, it's as if it sounds exactly, the orchestra sounds exactly what it feels like to fall in love. It's like, and you can't, and while it's going on, you can't imagine that falling in love would sound any other way. It's like that's exactly what it sounds. That's what I felt like the first time I fell in love. It's being put into, and it's like that's what he does at every moment, and it's kind of miraculous. And I think that's why audiences respond to it so immediately and viscerally.
Right behind you. So my next question is for you, Cara. La Boheme is one of the most beloved operas of all time. Everyone knows this piece. For those individuals that are coming back to see it a second or a third time, What should they be? What makes your interpretation different? And what was your process of going through it and your vision for making this fresh and new?
You know, the thing about Bohème is it follows you as you grow. This was the first opera I ever saw, which is in my early 20s. Our date randomly took me to Bohème at the Met, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good.
Was it Nicolas Cage?
That's exactly. Of course, my reference was Moonstruck, exactly. But, you know, in your 20s, when I was an actor at the time, Bohème meant something, and then later, I sang opera for about 5 minutes and actually coached me with Nick Fox circa, 2010, 2011. And I had a completely different relationship with the opera then as a singer. And then now, as I've, in my 40s, have experienced the loss that ends the opera. To me, it's a perfect opera because it is structured in a way like someone looking back on the greatest love of their life. And the reason you see these highlights and these highs and lows is because when you remember the greatest love of your life, those moments are the ones that stick out. So as we travel through time. So in terms of making the fresh and new, Bohème to me it doesn't actually need to be fresh and new in the sense that the essential human truth that the opera and the emotion that's in the music, when I rehearse Act 3 of Bohème, and that scene when Mimi is coming to Marcello for help, and then when Rodolfo finally admits to Marcello that he's afraid because he knows that she's dying. Like these emotions that the characters are going through, the specificity of the characters is so universal and yet specific. You know a Chonard, you know a Marcello, you know a Mimi, you know a Musetta. So there's something there. For people who have seen it many times, what they'll get from coming to our production is I really love collaborating with a new cast. To me, it's new every time because, and you should come to see Kat and you should come to see Aubrey because their performances will be different because they're bringing their humanity to the performance and it will be specific. The thing that when you do an opera like Bohème is I put my heart on the stage and how I work with the singers. The singers put their hearts on the stage, so it will always be specific. The fun thing is we have this amazing set that has had its journey, and so we're creating an entire new physical reality. So for me, a lot of the prep has been studying how do we live in this physical reality. One of the things that's really interesting about this set, in Bohème, all of these places are real. Momu is actually a hotel now. You can go to Café Momu and stay in the hotel. In Act 3, we're at the Barrière d'Enfer, which is still there. And there's a realness to the garret that I haven't seen in other productions. Usually it's like one of those Tribeca lofts that you wish that you bought in the 70s that's huge and gorgeous. But this is actually a real tiny artist loft, and that changes how we play in it because your apartment's too small and you're annoyed with your roommate. It has that, which is a reality. As someone who lived in New York for many years with many roommates, is a very particular reality. So that physical space of the set is gonna give us something completely different in Act 1 and Act 4. Yeah.
Thank you. My next question to whoever wants to answer it is, which character in this opera do you most closely resemble in real life? And why? Who wants it?
I resonate most with Benoit because I'm from Jersey, and if someone doesn't pay their rent, I get really mad.
Anyone want to? Next one.
What? I'm getting left with it. Okay. Oh, we're passing. Never mind. Yes.
I identify most with Colline because he's the philosopher, Jason, because he has my favorite line in the opera. In Act 2, when they're all eating dinner, he says in English, this chicken that he's eating, this chicken is a poem. And he's just being figurative. But I do that sometimes. Like if I'm eating something really good, I'll say like, there's something poetic. Or like if I have a really good nap, I'll say that nap was delicious. So I'll cross between eating and other things. So I like that Colline says, this chicken is a poem.
Mimi, for me, there's always a discussion of, does Mimi know that she's dying? To me, I think she chooses to live courageously until she's gone. And there's something that I identify with that of, even when you know your time is limited, which my time is not limited as far as I know, but by choosing to be in the arts, it is by, in a way, embracing every moment that you have and choosing to live life as you want.
Okay, I'm going to do something kind of fun. I'm going to ask these rapid fire questions. And it's the first thing that pops into your head. And this is based on if the characters lived in 2025, today's world. What would be the first app you check in the morning?
Weather.
Backstage? I don't know.
TaskRabbit.
Hinge. Hinge for sure.
Probably Tinder.
Is Hinge the one now? I've been married a while. Probably Hinge. Or just TikTok for fun. Who knows?
ChatGPT.
Wordle.
As Benoit, I'm afraid to say this, but probably a porn site. I'm sorry, that's really ugly, but he's kind of sleazy. As El Chindoro, it's probably a Wall Street Journal and check how my portfolio's doing.
Parpignol would probably be on Amazon looking for more toys.
What would be your most used emoji?
The laughing emoji.
Probably too old with both characters to know what emojis are.
I'd probably be the nerdy one with the glasses. So, yeah.
Probably rolling on the floor laughing.
The one with the hair flip.
The upside down smiley face. Yeah.
The girl in the red dress dancing.
Probably the smiley face that's like on its side and melting, like a Salvador Dali picture.
If for the whole opera, like a heart and then the face with the one tear.
I mean, it has nothing to do with Bohème, but a cat. A cat.
And if the garret had Wi-Fi, what would everyone be streaming?
The latest serial killer documentary on Netflix.
Like Prestige, HBO, and also reality TV.
Probably, like Nick said, a serial killer documentary or a hitman documentary.
Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Yeah. Any anime countdown. Yeah.
Oh, Love is Blind.
Yeah, probably the first 48. You know, when they try to solve a murder.
Probably Mythbusters or Animal Planet.
I actually think that they would be listening to Joy Division on vinyl while SVU is on the background on mute.
What's that show where they are looking for new houses in a neighborhood? House Hunters.
And again, probably anything having to do with money for El Chindoro. You know.
Probably Rudolph and the Island of Misfit Toys.
Oh my God, the toys. TikTok, Instagram. Oh. My last one is TikTok or Instagram.
Instagram.
Insta.
Instagram. Instagram.
Instagram.
Instagram.
I think Musetta's a TikTok girl. Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah, agree, Kat. It's TikTok.
TikTok.
Instagram.
Yes.
Any questions from our audience? Oh, I see a question over here. She's coming tomorrow. Yes, we are having a. She's already dead, so we've just cut to it. Anyone have another question in the audience? All right, hold on.
For singers, what does Puccini give you that other composers maybe give you something different? And how is that? How is it what he gives you different?
Who wants it?
What does Puccini give you?
To me, what I get from Puccini is this just soaring wellspring of earnest love and passion and hope. It's hard to describe. It's something so incredibly positive, and it just makes you feel glad to be alive, glad to be a human being that can process that, because it is so unmistakably powerful and searing into your soul. That's what I get from Puccini. I love him for that.
We're going down the line. Okay, sure. I mean, I think Nick put it perfectly earlier that it's this way of he didn't say this, but freezing time almost, and that when you're listening, you couldn't ever think about processing an emotion or understanding it differently than the way that Puccini writes it and that he gave you. And even sometimes, I mean, I think all of us as young people, young singers, young opera listeners, we understood those things without, in a way, in our own way, without having experienced them yet, which I think is really something special.
I agree with that, and I think that for me, there's this cushion that I feel like you're able to ride on with Puccini's music compared to some other composers, even if they are giving out emotion and whatnot. When it comes to Puccini, I just feel like there's this catharsis in singing whatever I have to say, and it's going to carry until the next word, and that brings me such joy and fulfillment. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think it's the way that he uses the text that he has and the story, and he just, to me, perfectly sets that text to the music. That sometimes it is soaring, and it's like the emotions overcome really the words, which I think happens to us in real life. And then but he's also really smart and economic, and there are times when people are just talking, and that he does that too, you know, and yet it's all really musical and incredible, and it lives in this world that feels very cohesive. I love the way he also weaves the themes through, so that you really do follow the narrative. You really do see the growth of the characters and the story as the night goes.
As a singer, I think it's, for me, it's dangerous for all the reasons stated, because it's so visceral, and it's easy to kind of lose yourself in the emotive aspect of it without checking in on technique. And you know, by the time you get to the end of the first act, or maybe halfway through the first scene, you realize you've got another 2.5 hours to go and you're cooked. So that's dangerous. But that notwithstanding, and maybe as illustrative of that, it's the fact that it runs. Puccini is gifted, massively gifted, in an ability to like pull at every single one of the heartstrings across, you know, the panoply of human emotion, and can do it at the right time and the right way, and is able to the minutiae be able to extract every moment of emotion in a note, you know, before releasing you from that to the next, you know, point of ecstasy or misery, you know. And so the journey is exhausting, but it's also restorative if you give yourself in completely. He does the hard work for you, so it's very, you know, you really can't go. It's kind of like pizza. Like even like bad pizza, still pizza. I mean, it's good, right? I mean, so yeah. I mean, not to be trite, but I mean, it really is that. You know, that's the amazing aspect of Puccini, and that's what's so gratifying.
Yeah, I mean, it really is pure opera. You sing to the extreme highs, you sing to the extreme lows, and he really knows how to write for the voice. I mean, it's just a way of, like everybody was saying as well. Also, he doesn't sit with just one palette. He uses an extremely broad palette, and you get to really get put through the ringer with all the emotions that you experience when going through Bohème. Also, I mean, to get to sing over this orchestration, I mean, it is a dream come true every time you get to perform a Bohème. So, or any Puccini, I could speak for. I don't know. I can't speak for all y'all, but yeah. So that's what I have to say.
I think for me, Puccini, especially this show, I mean, I would say this is, if not the best opera of all time, it's certainly one of the top as far as how people relate to it. I think the music is so full of human emotion, human condition, just like Nick mentioned, that, you know, it's so expressive, but also what makes this special is just the relationship with the four guys, where they're, you know, it's just conversational and they're joking with each other and they're playing, and you see this relationship versus let's take something and, you know, in a Baroque period and repeat the text 15 times over the space of an aria and stretch everything out. I mean, it's very conversational in some ways, and then all of a sudden you have this human emotion that is just portrayed and soars, and it just makes you weep. It's so beautiful. And so I really respond to that. You know, I had a chance, like many of you, to do multiple roles in this, and it's my first time doing these roles, but I've also sung some of the other parts, and it just always was a bucket list thing for me to be able to do, because it just seemed to speak my emotions on the page, you know. And so if you have anybody who's never come to an opera, what do I always suggest? Come to Bohème. Come to Bohème, come to Bohème, because you'll really catch a glimpse of why it can touch us so deeply. And that's what I think Puccini does so expertly with this score.
I think for me, the biggest thing is how Puccini can weave you in from one emotion to the next in such a way that you are always present during the entire production, in a way that I've never experienced in any other opera or composer in general.
What other questions do we have from our audience? Another question from Miss Carol Morse.
I'm curious about the sharing of the role of Musetta, because I don't think I've seen that happen before here at Portland Opera, maybe. But
Do you want to take that? Why?
Oh. Katrina has another gig. Yes, Katrina is doing the Carmina Burana that Oregon Symphony is doing, and I've always wanted to work with Aubrey, so it was just a natural fit. So,
anyone else have a question in our audience? No? Well, let's give all of our artists a round of applause. Thank you all so much for being here. We're so excited to welcome you to Portland. If you have not been to Portland, we have so many wonderful food trucks and parks to go to, and there's so many locals here. Look around, and we can direct you to any sort of vice you may have as well. So let's go eat and drink, and thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Opera Talk. As always, visit portlandopera.org for tickets and the most up-to-date information about season events and happenings. Remember to subscribe so you never miss a beat and stay connected with all things Portland Opera. Until next time, keep the music in your heart and opera on your mind. We'll see you at the opera.